My fellow humans, thanks for making me president of Earth, and now I make the following decrees. That means do it. First, internet for everybody because right now it's not, and that's stupid. No more Facebook. We're gonna bring back Tom and MySpace. World of Warcraft is now subsidized by the government and is totally free. Oh, but he doesn't get any of the money. And I decree no more homework. Oh, and humans are now a slave race and will serve their robot masters. Welcome to your new reality, meatbags. Now wake up. I see you were conveniently sleeping while standing up.
Yeah, I guess I was daydreaming or something.
Was it a bad dream?
Actually, no. Hello, it's Soul, and welcome back to another episode of Warcraft Weekly, your brief break from playing that Brutosaur song nonstop for however many days straight, because otherwise you might have had an anxiety attack. Today's weekly, like all the weeklies, is supported by the super duper lovely folks on Twitch and Patreon. There's no new patrons this week, but I know it's because you've been distracted by, what else? World of Warcraft. Seriously, folks, I'm like trying to do my very best to get your mind off of stuff, so let's get to the news, starting with this man who is so proud of the swag on his shelf like they were trophy kills, president of Blizzard Entertainment, J. Allen Brack. Earlier this week, he reached out to us over on Twitter with the same energy anyone would have knowing BlizzCon was cancelled, and this was what they had to settle with.
I personally have a deep love of BlizzCon, and these are strong words from someone who's actually a shy introvert.
Brack filled us in on a few fun statistics, what's good, what's ongoing, and what's coming in February. Blizz online on February 19th and 20th of next year. The big takeaway, though, is that it's free. I told you it would be free, but stay tuned for what are likely to be bonus digital goodies that you can buy or may come as part of a recurring 6-month subscription. I can't wait for the conversations on that. It ought to be really new and refreshing. Earlier, I reported on an incoming terms of service change from Blizzard that effectively bans multiboxing, and to be specific, that's the act of using software allowing one user action to be simultaneously reproduced across multiple WoW clients. And recently, reports of warnings have been coming in. The move has been, for the most part, celebrated by players who are tired of being inconvenienced by a flock of druids taking herbs or making a ruckus in battlegrounds or world PvP. But it's also brought a different set of WoW players to the surface, those who farm dungeons or raids alone, but they just happen to use a multi-box setup. It sparked a bit of a debate, like, why are all multi-boxers being punished when it seems clear that the ban is targeted against gathering and PvP? Why couldn't a more fair solution be found? A while back, when bringing this subject up, I tried thinking up ideas to change how gathering works across the board, so it can be a bit more fair for everyone, but it also made clear that a policy change like the one announced would be the easiest and least disruptive solution for all players. This is pretty unfortunate because while solo farming current dungeons and raids with multiple accounts is not unusual, we don't really hear complaints over this because those players who practice this aren't directly bothering anyone with those actions. So to any of you who are affected by this change, who basically did keep to themselves and didn't disrupt other players, I feel kind of bad. The way that you enjoyed the game is being screwed up, but it's not your fault. A lot of bad actors out there dragged multiboxing down into what a lot of people see as a disruptive activity, and frankly, they ruined it for you. So blame them. Also, on the subject of hardware that's capable of facilitating multiboxing, that's been brought up a lot too. And all I can say to that is, good luck. Warden has already started detecting the software side of multiboxing, but if you believe that you're in the clear using hardware to circumvent what's obviously still a tool to assist you, you probably want to watch your back, because players are even more empowered than ever to report you and probably can't tell the difference between software and hardware assistance. In other words, have fun doing lots of alt-tabbing between all of your clients. This week, the CurseForge app, which will replace the Twitch client as a WoW add-on manager, went into beta, bringing with it minimal changes from the alpha, but plenty of the greatest hits, like,
it's gonna be full of malware.
It's gonna sell your information.
It sacrifices babies to the unseen god.
And, other alleged misinformation. I had this thing installed, and I checked out the beta version, which I guess makes me brave, or a shill, or a brill, whatever. The long and short of it is, it's an upgraded version of the Twitch client, with a box on the side. If it was literally malware, someone would have exposed it by now, for the clout, If Overwolf really is still selling information, then they're liable for breaking their own privacy policy, and their CEO would be held accountable for lying multiple times in press statements, including an interview with me, which would be like, use it, don't use it, dread it, run from it, whatever, be a prisoner of your concerns. That's not even really the subject here. I want to talk for a moment about what is at stake with this drama over Overwolf. over, right? CurseForge isn't a brand new thing. It was a part of Curse, a company that aggressively grew earlier in the decade and created its own add-on manager, which was successful, before Twitch, which was already owned by Amazon at the time, acquired it. And the CurseForge client of old was rebranded into the Twitch client that we currently enjoy. But then Twitch sold part of Curse to Fandom, and then sold CurseForge to Overwolf. This is coming straight out my ass, okay, but I think it's a safe guess that the vast majority of add-on downloading traffic for the World of Warcraft comes from CurseForge. And regardless of whether you think or want CurseForge to succeed, it'll probably persist because it doesn't just support the World of Warcraft, but other popular games including Minecraft. But let's do some gutter level speculation here. What if something happened that made everybody jump ship from Overwolf, CurseForge, whatever? Where would add-ons, add-on creators, and its users go? The first stop would probably be WoW Interface, pretty much the only other competition in town that offers a friendly way to host add-ons and give users the power to search for what's popular, or new, or trending. It also looks like this if you turn ad block off. It's not like CurseForge doesn't have ads either, but I'm merely pointing out that WoW Interface, its parent site MMO UI, and CurseForge need to generate money somehow, so they can afford to pay for the bandwidth needed to host and store thousands and thousands of add-ons. By comparison, WoW Interface doesn't bring in nearly the traffic that CurseForge does, and that's just the website. The current Twitch app is pretty widely used and doesn't generate ads, although the point of that was to facilitate Twitch broadcasts. Meanwhile, I never heard of Minion, which is WoW Interface's add-on manager, until I started researching this topic. In short, WoW Interface might be able to handle the traffic, but what if it can't? What if it can't afford the bandwidth because me, Mr. First World Problem, can't stand to see ads, and the site collapses under costs that it can't afford? Then we would go directly to GitHub, which is where most add-on creators host their add-ons anyway. While GitHub doesn't do advertisements, it relies on memberships and is owned by some company called Microsoft, I think. The issue though is that GitHub is a developer-facing site without the user-friendliness that many users crave. You and I might be used to using it, but in general, people like things that are user-friendly and don't like ads or commercials. It's a reason why WoW Up, which is gearing for a big 2.0 release, has quickly risen to be the go-to add-on manager with no installation or ads. You just run it. You update, you close, and then you hope that the add-ons were actually seen and updated. Come on, WoW Up is not perfect either. Anyway, GitHub is not the place to search for WoW add-ons. In fact, your best bet would be to use Google and type GitHub, WoW, and then the add-on that you're looking for. So what's at stake concerning the unlikely but possible failure of the upcoming CurseForge client? Without a dedicated site, I predict that numerous hosting sites would spring up, and ultimately the add-on community would splinter and perhaps stagnate. It's already hard enough to break into the current scene with cool ideas that you want to share with others. Instead of a vibrant rotation of ideas turning into add-ons, turning into better add-ons, we would just see the biggest add-ons get bigger, while new creators are, they'll be spamming forums or Discord channels, telling people to, hey, try out my new shiny thing. I can't imagine how I could feature new add-ons if I couldn't easily sort by date updated or uploaded. And no matter what the effort, someone's got to fork over the cash to make this possible. This month-long week began with the rescheduled launch of the WoW Anniversary event, providing a modest reputation and experience boost that lasts all the way until the point where it would matter the most, just days before the Shadowlands launch. Korak's Revenge also makes a return, but without the ridiculously easy leveling scheme, unfortunately. According to an article from Wowhead, it takes nearly an hour to gain a level, which, to be fair, isn't all that much faster than how it was before when you consider the level squish. You might recall during last year's event that leveling from 110 to 120 was considerably faster compared to previous levels, and this year we're not going to be able to compare that to the upcoming 50 to 60 experience. Not everyone is Des Mephisto, who recently broke a new 1 to 50 speed leveling record, clocking in at 3.5 hours, and by the way, grats on his recent successes. It's fair to say that today's leveling is both smoother and easier, but good luck getting that anniversary mount from Korak's Revenge. I'm sure that the queue times are going to be plenty lengthy. And until November 8th, WoW is free to play, including Battle for Azeroth content. Personally, I think it would have been more effective to do this the weekend after, when the pre-patch event started, but I suppose Blizzard doesn't want that free weekend to be spoiled by a possible zombie apocalypse, which means, okay, I really want it to be next weekend instead. Plenty of fresh meat. Blizzard gave us a prequel to the upcoming Exploring Azeroth, Eastern Kingdom's book, a short story which left me feeling excited for a good old wholesome adventure. Okay, wholesome in Warcraft means saving the world without using swear words, but I guess, it's all good. I'll link that in the description. And what's a week without a beta build, right? Woo! This week is no exception, with a few special additions and changes. This week, Blizzard put some focus on Torghast, where your overpowered character fantasy is brought to life. Players were able to create pre-mades with an item level of 180, just below regular mythic dungeons, to reproduce the experience of climbing certain difficulties, or layers, which told me that they're finally doing another pass at the difficulty. So naturally, I went in at max difficulty level and smashed it, albeit it was a slower climb than usual. I'll share my feedback with you here. Torghast climbs feel much better this time around, with a reasonable difficulty that gets both tougher and easier as you climb, because enemies get more deadly, but you are getting deadlier, if you made decent decisions of anima powers as you go. This is best expressed when you fight the boss on the 6th floor, which pretty clearly decides if the powers that you brought with you are powerful enough. A lot of the difficulty is negated predictably by my knowledge of Torghast after dozens and dozens of climbs. Learning the lay of the land and which mobs are most deadly can be much more valuable than some anima powers or the gear that you got coming in. Setting aside considerations of how important it is to maybe max out your soul ash gains, I think Torghast is a welcome challenge in general. But its weakness still lies in the glory to be had from climbing, like more cosmetic rewards, a leaderboard, and providing bonus challenges. My concern is that without these, it'll compromise the momentum of this feature to the point where Blizzard won't put much more work into it because players aren't interested, and it's entirely because Blizzard didn't add enough to it early on. But now that we're at this stage, the takeaway is to be persistent with the feedback and keeping Torghast as part of the conversation. Shadowlands has been tripling down on the fact that it's going to be a thirsty expansion when it comes to professions, specifically burning up all these materials, but there's a small sigh of relief. A while back, I reported on leatherworking armor kits that provided temporary but significant stamina boost on up to 4 pieces of gear, which is the equivalent to having 2 stamina flasks at the same time, or wearing 3 helmets of normal raid quality. Awkward. It's been knocked down significantly, making armor kits almost feel like a luxury than a necessity unless you're doing very high-end content where even a small boost makes a difference. But maybe that's kind of the point. Imagine if Shadowlands did launch with these super powerful kits, everyone would be fighting to get a hold of them. In some ways that's a good thing, but boy, it would be aggravating as all heck to have this on almost all the time, every time, and need to reply them every few hours. Min-maxing is a thing in WoW, obviously, but armor kits were just straight up overpowered. As said, this change is probably going to lower the expected demand for armor kits across the board, but on the high end of the spectrum, nothing changes, because everything matters. And to wrap this thing up, a small battalion of bind unequipped gear made its way onto this build. These have an item level of heroic raid gear, and don't seem to have any unique visual characteristics unfortunately, but one standout item, and the one that'll probably sell for the most gold, is this trinket, the relic of the first ones, which gives some main stats, but it reduces the cooldown of your Covenant signature ability by 20%, not your class ability, but the signature ability. So this could be a nice boon for basically every Covenant except for the Kyrian, which gives us a set of potions that would take us a minimum of 6 minutes to use anyway. Okay, well technically you can have your steward play this song non-stop if you have this trinket. And no, only you can hear your steward's music. And that's the show. It's been quite a week, right folks? Lots of WoW stuff, exactly nothing else going on, yes sir ma'am. Seriously, it is good to be a shut-in in the gaming content creator space right now. Like, it did a lot to help me get through the week without stressing over things that really I should not be stressing over. I'm still okay enough to realize what is and is not normal. I really hope that everyone's doing okay and that I've been able to distract you for just a moment. So if you don't mind, and if you enjoyed yourself of course, please like today's video. Subscribe for more of these moments, guides, and previews, and all things Warcraft. Take care everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.